Prince William and Princess Anne have officially drawn the line in the sand. And for Meghan Markle, that line might as well be a fortress wall she will never breach. Sources close to the royal family are now revealing that these two senior royals have been working together behind closed doors to ensure one thing: Meghan Markle will never be welcomed back into the firm. Not now. Not ever. This is not speculation. This is not palace gossip spinning out of control. Insiders claim that Princess Anne has been quietly pulling strings at Windsor Castle, coordinating with Prince William and even Queen Camilla to block any possible path for the Sussexes to return. And when someone like Princess Anne gets involved, you know the situation has reached a critical breaking point. Here is what makes this so explosive. Harry recently scored a legal victory in his battle to get UK-funded police protection reinstated. On paper, that should have cleared the way for him and Meghan to potentially return to England and ease back into royal life. But William and Anne had other plans. They saw that court ruling and immediately moved to shut down any hopes Meghan might have been harboring. According to reports, Princess Anne has been urging King Charles directly to ban Meghan from crossing the threshold of any royal residence. Let that sink in for a moment. The Princess Royal, one of the hardest working members of the monarchy, a woman who rarely inserts herself into family politics, has taken it upon herself to deliver this message to her brother, the king. And when Anne speaks up, it counts for a lot. An insider revealed something fascinating about Anne's involvement. They said she does not intend to interfere or get involved with family politics all that often. So when she does speak up or offer an opinion, it carries tremendous weight within the family. This is not someone who meddles in drama. This is someone who has watched the destruction unfold and decided enough is enough. William reportedly feels the same way. Sources claim the future king believes the Sussexes have been shamelessly taking advantage of his father during one of the most vulnerable periods of his life. Charles is battling cancer. He is in his 70s, and yet Harry and Meghan continue to weaponize their connection to him while simultaneously trashing the institution he has dedicated his entire existence to protecting. The message from William and Anne is crystal clear. There will be no reconciliation that includes Meghan Markle. There will be no warm welcome. There will be no second chances. If Harry wants to crawl back and beg for forgiveness on his own, perhaps there might be a conversation. But his wife, she burned those bridges years ago, and the senior royals have no intention of rebuilding them. But this coordinated blocking effort is just the beginning of what the royals have planned, because the alliance between William and Anne goes deeper than anyone realized, and the strategy they have developed reveals exactly how far they are willing to go to protect the crown from Meghan's influence. Princess Anne has spent her entire life staying out of royal drama. She puts her head down, works harder than anyone else in the family, and lets her actions speak louder than any headline. So when insiders reveal that Anne has positioned herself as the silent enforcer in this campaign against Meghan Markle, you know something extraordinary is happening behind palace walls. What makes this alliance so fascinating is that William and Anne have not always seen eye to eye. They come from different generations with different approaches to royal duty. Anne is old school, no nonsense, and fiercely protective of tradition. William represents the future, someone who has tried to modernize the monarchy while respecting its foundations. These two do not always agree on how things should be done, but Meghan Markle has accomplished something remarkable. She has united them completely. Whatever differences William and Anne may have had in the past have evaporated in the face of what they perceive as an existential threat to the institution they have both dedicated their lives to serving. Sources say that when it comes to Meghan, Anne agrees entirely with Prince William, and that agreement has formed the backbone of their coordinated effort. An insider explained the dynamic perfectly. They revealed that if Meghan does decide to come back to the UK and finds herself in the same room as Anne and Camilla, she will get extremely short shrift. The source described this combination as the most fearsome imaginable. Imagine walking into a room knowing that two of the most powerful women in the British monarchy are standing there, united in their disdain for everything you represent. That is the reception Meghan would face. Anne's involvement sends a powerful message to King Charles. This is not just William being petty or holding a grudge against his younger brother. This is the Princess Royal, a woman Charles deeply respects, telling him directly that any reconciliation involving Meghan would be madness. Anne reportedly believes that after everything Harry and Meghan have done, after the interviews, the documentary, the book, the endless attacks, welcoming them back would make the monarchy look weak and foolish. Reports suggest Anne has been working alongside Camilla as well. The Queen has her own reasons for wanting Meghan permanently excluded. She endured years of attacks, being painted as a villain in the Sussex narrative, and she has not forgotten. Together, these three figures, William, Anne, and Camilla, have created an impenetrable wall around King Charles, constantly reinforcing why any path back for Meghan must remain permanently closed. The brilliance of this strategy is that it does not require Charles to make a dramatic public declaration. Instead, he is surrounded by the people he trusts most, all delivering the same consistent message. Meghan is not welcome. Meghan will never be welcome, and any attempt to force her way back will be met with unified resistance from the entire senior royal family. But Charles finds himself caught in an impossible position, because despite everything, he still loves his son, and that love is being weaponized in ways that could tear the monarchy apart. Prince William has mastered the art of public composure. He smiles for the cameras, shakes hands with dignitaries, and projects the image of a calm and measured future king. But behind closed doors, sources say William is absolutely furious with Harry and Meghan, and his anger has only intensified as he watches them continue to exploit his ailing father. Insiders claim William believes the Sussexes are shamelessly taking advantage of King Charles during his cancer battle. Every olive branch Charles extends, every door he leaves slightly open, Harry and Meghan interpret as weakness to be exploited. William has watched this pattern repeat itself over and over again, and he has had enough. What makes William's position so unshakable is that he sees Meghan as the primary destructive force behind everything. Before she entered the picture, William and Harry were close. They worked together, supported each other, and presented a united front. Then Meghan arrived and systematically dismantled that brotherhood. At least that is how William perceives the situation. And nothing Harry has done since leaving the royal family has changed his mind. Reports suggest William has made his feelings absolutely clear to his father. He has urged Charles repeatedly to cut ties with Harry and Meghan completely. No more financial support, no more keeping them on the royal website, no more leaving doors open for potential reconciliation. William wants a clean break, and he wants it now. The Wales family has closed ranks in a way that sends its own powerful message. Catherine's Christmas broadcast was a masterclass in subtle communication. While Meghan was writing hollow newsletters about nibbling leftover dim sum, Catherine sat at a piano with Princess Charlotte and delivered a message about love, compassion, and reaching out to others. The contrast could not have been more stark, and insiders believe some of Catherine's words were deliberately pointed. When Catherine spoke about hoping people received the same love they put out into the world, many interpreted that as a direct message to Meghan. You cannot spend years attacking this family and then expect warmth in return. You cannot trash the institution and then wonder why the institution wants nothing to do with you. Catherine's grace only highlighted Meghan's gracelessness. William also reportedly harbors deep concerns about the safety of his own family. Security at Sandringham was noticeably increased this Christmas, and sources suggest the heightened protection was directly connected to threats that have emerged from the Sussex situation. William takes the security of Catherine and his children incredibly seriously. The idea that Harry and Meghan's actions might be putting his family at risk has only hardened his resolve. The future king has drawn a line that he will not cross. Harry might be his brother by blood, but William views him now as someone who chose to betray everything their family represents. And Meghan? She is simply the architect of that betrayal. Someone William believes manipulated a vulnerable Harry and destroyed their relationship forever. But Meghan is not sitting idly by while the royals plot against her. Her next move reveals just how calculating she truly is, and the strategy might shock even her harshest critics. Meghan Markle knows exactly what she is doing. Every move she makes is calculated. Every public statement is strategic, and sources now reveal that her approach to a potential UK return is no different. This is not about reconciliation. This is not about healing family wounds. This is about boosting her brand value at any cost. Reports have emerged claiming Meghan has been putting out feelers through various channels, suggesting she would consider returning to the UK for the right price. Let that sink in. The woman who spent years trashing the monarchy, accusing them of racism, and painting herself as a victim, is now apparently open to going back, but only if the financial incentives are attractive enough. Insiders speculate that Meghan's plan is far more devious than a simple return. Word on the street suggests she would only go back temporarily, perhaps for a few months, just long enough to rehabilitate her image and boost her plummeting stock. Think about it. Right now, Meghan Markle's brand is in free fall. Nobody in Hollywood wants to work with her. Her business ventures are failing. Her relevance is slipping away with each passing day. But if she returned to the UK and was photographed alongside the royal family, suddenly she is relevant again. Suddenly her name carries weight, and then according to this theory, she would retreat back to California, play the victim once more, claim the racism was unbearable, and cash in on renewed public interest. It is a cynical strategy, but sources say it is exactly the kind of move Meghan would make. There is another layer to this calculation that involves California divorce law. Meghan and Harry have been married since 2018. Under California law, marriages lasting under 10 years receive spousal support for half the duration of the marriage, but marriages exceeding 10 years can potentially receive indefinite support. The math is not complicated. Meghan has every financial incentive to hang on until that 10-year mark arrives. Reports from Vanity Fair previously revealed that Meghan had been shopping around a post-divorce book. At the time, many dismissed this as speculation, but when you connect the dots, a disturbing pattern emerges. Meghan appears to be positioning herself for maximum financial extraction whenever the marriage inevitably ends. Sources close to the situation suggest Meghan has been meticulously documenting everything throughout her marriage to Harry. His struggles, his vulnerabilities, his private moments, all of it potentially ammunition for future negotiations or tell-all projects. Remember when articles emerged claiming Harry chose hair loss medication despite its intimate side effects? That information did not leak by accident. Someone wanted it out there. The royals see through all of this. William and Anne understand exactly what Meghan is attempting. They recognize that any return would be temporary and self-serving. That is precisely why they are working so hard to block every possible pathway. They refuse to let Meghan use the monarchy as a prop in her personal brand rehabilitation tour. But while Meghan schemes about her future, her treatment of her own father reveals just how cold her calculations truly run, and the contrast with Catherine's message is absolutely damning. Catherine's Christmas message included a phrase that hit differently for anyone paying attention. She spoke about the importance of a helping hand, and as she said those words, footage showed an elderly royal family member being wheeled in a wheelchair, receiving care and dignity from his relatives. The message was unmistakable. Family takes care of family, except when you are Meghan Markle. Thomas Markle is 81 years old. He recently underwent a devastating amputation, losing part of his leg due to complications from his ongoing health struggles. This is a man who has suffered multiple strokes and heart attacks. He is not in good shape, and through all of this suffering, his daughter has refused to visit him, refused to call him, and refused to offer even a single gesture of compassion. The contrast with Catherine's words about reaching out with generosity of heart could not be more brutal. Here is the future queen speaking about helping others, about showing up for people in their time of need. And there is Meghan, writing hollow newsletters about cuddling with her family while her actual father withers away alone in Mexico, desperate for any contact with his daughter and grandchildren he has never met. Court documents from Meghan's previous legal battles revealed something chilling about how she operates. Her own communications showed that she crafted her famous letter to Thomas Markle specifically so it would play well publicly if leaked. She admitted in messages to a senior aide that she had been meticulous in her word choice. She even acknowledged that opening with Daddy, despite him being less than paternal, would pull at the heartstrings in the unfortunate event the letter became public. This is not a woman reaching out to repair a relationship. This is a woman creating content for future PR campaigns. Every word measured, every phrase calculated, the emotion manufactured entirely for public consumption. And now rumors suggest Meghan is planning to go even further. Sources speculate she is developing a documentary project centered on her relationship with her father. But this would not be a reconciliation story. Insiders claim it would paint Thomas as the villain, positioning Meghan as the long-suffering daughter who tried everything while her terrible father refused her olive branches. The audacity is staggering. Thomas Markle's great crime was taking stage photographs with a paparazzi photographer before the wedding. For that, he has been exiled from his daughter's life permanently. Meanwhile, Meghan has staged countless moments, manipulated media coverage relentlessly, and manufactured narratives at every turn. The hypocrisy is so thick you could choke on it. People close to the royal family have noticed all of this. They see how Meghan treats the people who should matter most. They watch her discard family members who no longer serve her purposes, and they recognize that if she treats her own father this way, nobody in the monarchy is safe from similar treatment. Catherine's Christmas message was about love and connection and showing up for others. Meghan's entire existence is about using people until they are no longer useful, and that Christmas contrast exposed the difference more clearly than any commentary ever could. Catherine and Princess Charlotte sat together at a piano and broke the internet. That single moment, mother and daughter creating beautiful music together, radiated warmth and authenticity that millions of people felt instantly. It was simple, it was genuine, and it completely exposed the hollow performance Meghan Markle was attempting across the Atlantic. While the Wales family was attending church at Sandringham, greeting well-wishers, and embodying everything the monarchy represents, Meghan was sending out a newsletter, and what a newsletter it was. She described nibbling the remnants of her Christmas Eve feast, dim sum apparently. She wrote about tiptoeing down the stairs with her husband to check if Santa had eaten his cookies. She mentioned dogs snoring and endless grazing. Who talks like this? Who describes their family Christmas as endless grazing? The language was so bizarre, so detached from how normal people communicate, that it only reinforced how performative everything about Meghan truly is. She was trying so desperately to paint a cozy picture that she ended up creating something that felt manufactured and strange. Catherine's message spoke about love taking form in the simplest and most human ways. Not in grand gestures, she said, but gentle ones. A moment of listening, a word of comfort, a helping hand. Every phrase felt intentional and directed, because while Catherine was talking about reaching out to others, Meghan was wrapped up entirely in herself. The royal shade was subtle but unmistakable. Catherine concluded her message by saying she hoped everyone would feel surrounded by the same love and care that they offer so freely to others. Read that again. The same love you put out is what you receive back. For someone like Meghan who has spent years attacking this family, putting out nothing but negativity and accusations, the message lands like a velvet-covered hammer. Observers noticed something else significant about the Sandringham walkabout. Security was dramatically increased compared to previous years. Sources suggest the heightened protection was directly connected to threats that have emerged as a result of Harry and Meghan's various revelations and accusations. The Sussex situation has created real security concerns for the working royals, and William takes that incredibly seriously. Princess Charlotte demonstrated more poise and grace at 9 years old than Meghan has shown in her entire public life. When the young princess received gifts from well-wishers, she calmly turned to a security officer and politely asked if he could hold them for her. Beautiful manners, genuine warmth. A child being raised with values and consideration for others. Meanwhile, Meghan released a holiday card showing her family looking away from the camera, not even acknowledging the audience she was supposedly addressing. "From my family to yours," she wrote, while presenting an image that conveyed the opposite of connection. It was performative, it was awkward, and it perfectly captured everything wrong with how Meghan approaches public communication. Catherine won Christmas without even trying. She simply showed up as herself. And that authenticity devastated Meghan more than any direct criticism ever could. But the failures mounting around Meghan extend far beyond bad holiday messaging. Her entire brand is collapsing in spectacular fashion. Meghan Markle once believed she would conquer Hollywood. She thought leaving the royal family would unleash her potential and transform her into a global superstar on her own terms. Instead, she has become a cautionary tale about burning bridges and overestimating your own appeal. The brand is in absolute freefall, and there is no safety net in sight. As ever was supposed to be her triumphant lifestyle empire. The jam, the dog biscuits, the curated homeware, all of it positioned as Meghan's pathway to becoming the next Martha Stewart or Gwyneth Paltrow. Instead, reports emerged that she was hosting pop-up shops at Soho House, desperately trying to move inventory that nobody wanted to buy. Even more embarrassing, sources revealed she was offering her marmalade for free with a $75 purchase. When you are giving away your flagship product just to clear shelves, your business is not thriving, it is dying. Netflix was supposed to be their golden ticket. Harry and Meghan signed a massive deal reportedly worth around $100 million. The expectation was groundbreaking content that would reshape how the world saw them. What did we actually get? A documentary filled with recycled grievances, awkward moments, and Meghan doing bizarre curtsies to mock the late queen. The relationship with Netflix has reportedly soured completely. Those bridges are burned beyond repair. Spotify was somehow even worse. The podcast deal collapsed in spectacular fashion, with executives allegedly calling the Sussexes grifters who did not understand what they wanted. Millions of dollars invested, almost nothing delivered. Meghan managed to alienate one of the biggest platforms in the world through a combination of entitlement and lack of work ethic. That is genuinely impressive in the worst possible way. Her pivot to Lemonada Media has generated almost zero cultural impact. Nobody is talking about her podcast. Nobody is sharing clips or discussing episodes around the water cooler. She has become background noise in an industry that rewards relevance above everything else. And Meghan Markle is becoming increasingly irrelevant by the day. Perhaps nothing captures their desperation more than reports about selling access dinners. Harry and Meghan have apparently been offering wealthy individuals the opportunity to dine with them for around $100,000. Let that sink in. A prince and his wife reduced to selling their company like influencers hawking meet and greet packages. The humiliation is staggering. The Dodgers game incident proved that public sentiment has turned decisively against them. When Harry and Meghan appeared on the screen at the stadium, they were met with audible boos from the crowd. This is Los Angeles, supposedly their home turf, a city they believed would embrace them as Hollywood royalty. Instead, regular Americans made their feelings perfectly clear. Nobody asked for you. Nobody wants you here. Every avenue Meghan has pursued has crumbled. Every partnership has soured. Every grand announcement has fizzled into nothing. The woman who thought she was too big for the British monarchy has discovered that without that monarchy, she is just another failed actress with delusions of grandeur. And now, with options dwindling, Meghan is making a desperate move that crosses every line she previously claimed to respect. She is weaponizing her own children. They promised their children would be private citizens. They claimed leaving the royal family was about protecting Archie and Lilibet from the media spotlight. They insisted their kids would have normal lives, free from the pressures and intrusions that Harry experienced growing up. Every single word of that was a lie. Just before Christmas, Harry and Meghan announced they were rebranding the Archewell Foundation to Archewell Philanthropies. That alone might seem like harmless corporate restructuring, but buried in the announcement was something far more significant. The new structure, they revealed, creates space for their children to be part of the long-term philanthropic identity they are building. Archie is 6 years old. Lilibet is 4. and their parents are already drafting them into the family business. The hypocrisy is absolutely breathtaking. This is the same couple who sued photographers for taking pictures of their son. This is the same couple who demanded privacy at every turn, threatening legal action against anyone who dared capture images of their children. And now they are voluntarily thrusting those same children into the public sphere for their own commercial benefit. Reports throughout 2025 revealed a pattern of supposedly accidental exposures. A photograph at Gloria Steinem's house showed the children's faces perfectly positioned for the camera. Pure coincidence, apparently. Pictures from a surf school featuring Archie emerged from professional photographers who just happened to be there. Another accident, surely. Halloween footage showed the children running around, their identities barely concealed. Oops, how did that get out? None of this is accidental. Meghan and Harry have been gradually desensitizing the public to seeing their children, preparing the ground for what comes next. And what comes next appears to be full commercial exploitation of Archie and Lilibet in ways that make their previous privacy demands look laughably hypocritical. The Archewell Philanthropies rebrand also introduces something called a fiscal sponsorship model. Translation: new ways to generate revenue while maintaining the appearance of charitable work. Industry observers noted this structure allows for greater financial flexibility, which is convenient timing given how desperately the Sussexes need cash. Commentators have compared the situation to how Michael Jackson raised his children. Prince and Blanket grew up isolated from normal society, hidden behind masks in public, treated more like props than people. Archie and Lilibet face a similar fate. They are American children with British royal titles they never asked for, living in a country that fought a war to reject monarchy, being raised by parents who view them primarily as brand extensions. The children have no relationship with their British cousins. They have never been photographed with George, Charlotte, or Louis. They have never experienced the support system of extended royal family. Instead, they are prisoners in a Montecito mansion, trotted out occasionally when their parents need positive publicity, then hidden away again. Harry complained endlessly about his own childhood. He wrote an entire book about how damaged he was by growing up royal. And yet here he is, making decisions for his own children that could prove far more harmful than anything Charles and Diana ever did. But while Meghan plots and schemes, Harry himself appears increasingly disconnected from the entire situation, and insiders say he is already planning his escape. Something is different about Harry when Meghan is not around. People have noticed it repeatedly throughout 2025. When he attended polo events with his friend Nacho Figueras, he looked relaxed and genuinely happy. When he appeared solo at various engagements, there was a lightness about him that completely vanishes whenever his wife is by his side. The contrast has become impossible to ignore. Insiders are now openly speculating that Harry is emotionally checked out of his marriage. Reports emerged claiming he has prioritized hair loss medication over intimacy with his wife, allegedly dealing with serious side effects rather than addressing the issues in his relationship. Whether true or exaggerated, the fact that such stories are circulating at all suggests someone close to the situation wants the world to know this marriage is in trouble. Sources close to the royal family believe Harry desperately wants to return to the UK, not necessarily to resume full royal duties, but simply to escape the isolated existence he has built in California. What exactly does Harry do all day in Montecito? He plays polo occasionally. He attends the odd charity event, but the purposeful life he once had as a working royal has evaporated completely. King Charles's Christmas message offered an interesting glimpse into the possibilities. The king called for reconciliation and urged people to embrace digital detoxes and real human connection. Many interpreted this as a subtle invitation to his younger son. Despite everything that has happened, Charles still loves Harry. That paternal bond has not been severed, even if trust has been destroyed. Reports suggest Charles has been quietly keeping pathways open for Harry's eventual return. The Sussexes remain on the official royal website. Harry retains his place in the line of succession. These are not accidents. The king appears to be waiting for his son to come to his senses, hoping that one day Harry will walk away from Meghan and come home. But here is where things get complicated. William and Anne are working to ensure that any return involving Meghan remains permanently blocked. Charles may want reconciliation with his son, but the rest of the senior royals have drawn a firm line. Harry might be welcomed back eventually. His wife never will be. This creates an impossible choice for Harry. Does he stay in a failing marriage, watching his relevance fade while his wife's schemes grow increasingly desperate? Or does he abandon Meghan, return to England, and attempt to rebuild some version of his former life? Neither option is attractive, but the status quo appears unsustainable. The photographs from Kris Jenner's birthday party told their own story. Harry looked visibly intoxicated, staring inappropriately, while Meghan grinned beside him like nothing was wrong. That image captured something essential about their dynamic. Harry appears lost, numbing himself however he can, while Meghan performs relentlessly for whatever audience might be watching. The escape route exists. Charles is keeping it open, but taking that route would require Harry to admit that everything he sacrificed, everything he destroyed, was for nothing. That is a truth he may not be ready to face. And when this entire situation finally implodes, the fallout will reshape the monarchy for generations to come. Everyone watching this situation closely understands one fundamental truth. This cannot continue forever. Something has to give, and when it finally does, the consequences will be felt across continents and through generations of the royal family. Royal insiders are now openly discussing what happens when William eventually becomes king. Some sources previously suggested he might simply ignore the Sussexes, letting their titles become meaningless through their own foolish behavior. But more recent reports indicate William's thinking has hardened. He reportedly plans to strip Harry and Meghan of their titles entirely, though he would do it strategically, removing titles from multiple minor royals simultaneously so it does not appear personally vindictive. The prediction from those closest to the situation is brutally clear. Meghan will eventually position herself for divorce once her brand becomes completely irreparably damaged. She has allegedly been documenting everything throughout the marriage, building her case, preparing her ammunition. The Vanity Fair report about her shopping a post-divorce book was not speculation. It was foreshadowing. Under California law, Meghan stands to gain significantly more if the marriage exceeds 10 years. That milestone arrives in 2028. Expect her to hang on until then, extracting whatever value remains from the Sussex brand before pulling the trigger on separation. Everything she does between now and that date should be viewed through this lens. What does post-divorce Meghan look like? Industry observers have made their predictions, and they are not flattering. Some suggest she will eventually land on a Real Housewives franchise, trading whatever remaining dignity she possesses for reality television relevance. Others predict QVC appearances, hawking products directly to consumers who might still find her compelling. The trajectory from future princess to home shopping network is steep, but Meghan has been sliding down it for years. Harry faces his own reckoning. If he returns to the UK after a divorce, he will be walking back into a family he betrayed publicly and repeatedly. William may never forgive him. The trust that once existed between brothers has been shattered beyond repair. Harry might regain some relationship with his father, but he will never reclaim what he voluntarily destroyed. The children remain the true victims in all of this. Archie and Lilibet did not choose their parents. They did not ask to be prince and princess of a country they have barely visited. They did not request to become pawns in their mother's brand rehabilitation schemes. Whatever happens between Harry and Meghan, those children will carry the consequences for the rest of their lives. William and Anne have positioned themselves perfectly. By blocking Meghan now, they ensure the monarchy survives this crisis intact. The institution will endure. The Sussex chapter will eventually close, and historians will look back on this period as a cautionary tale about what happens when personal grievance meets unchecked ambition. The walls are closing in on Meghan Markle. The royals have united against her. Her business ventures have failed. Her husband appears ready to flee, and the ending everyone predicted from the beginning is finally approaching. Drop your thoughts below about how you think this all ends. Like, subscribe, and stay tuned. The next video is waiting, and you won't believe what is coming next.